Hello there, this is DBT and these are the rooms. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt Legends. And today it's Thanksgiving. That's right. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone that celebrates it. But if you don't, or you don't care about it, worry not. We have an entire video that has nothing to do with the holiday. In fact, what we will be doing is driving in multiplayer the cars from Burst of Speed, or at least some of them. But before I get into it, if you enjoy my content, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Doing these things helps the channel to continue to grow, it keeps me going, and it allows me to continue making this content for you. So go ahead, like and subscribe for some more Asphalt Legends right here. Now, before I go any further, I want to take a second to answer a question I've been asked before. DBT, if you speak Spanish, why don't you make videos in Spanish? And the answer is simple, because this channel is all in English. But now, there is a solution to this, because I've created DBT ESP, also known as LDBT. Now, this is a channel where I will be uploading videos in Spanish from time to time in a variety of games, racing included. In fact, the very first video is already up and the link is appearing in the top right about now. So if you're curious and speak the language, check my new channel, the link is also in the description and in the pinned comment. Let's see if I can get to maybe 30 subs before the year ends, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, just in case you were curious and you do speak Spanish. But alright, let's get into actual Asphalt Legends now. Now, I did say that I'm going to be playing with the Burst of Speed cars, or some of them, and that is because not all are available. The new multiplayer or MP2 season has just begun, and there's a bunch of free tries, specifically in Class S, and you can see them right here. Now, this is the Koenigsegg Agera RS. It's a Burst of Speed car, same for the HTT Locus, same for the La Voiture Noire, same for the Czinger 21C. And also the Rimac Nevera, except that this is the wrong one. I don't know if they meant to put the regular Nevera, but they put the Nevera Time Attack, and that is not the one in the Burst of Speed, so yeah, that doesn't really count. And we also have missing, what's the other card that is missing? The SEC Tuatara Striker is not a free try this time around. There's still a free try for the Automobili Pininfarina Battista and the Koenigsegg CC850, which is a card that is also relevant. But for now, I'm going to focus on the 4 Burst of Speed cars because yes. And let's begin with the Koenigsegg Agera RS. Class S car, 6 stars, rank of 4940, and here's the stats. I'm not gonna go into deep trying to figure out the performance of this car according to the numbers, because I have no idea. I don't really play with this tier of cars, but that's what I'm doing right now. Now, let me be straight up with you. This is gonna be bad. I've said it once, I've said it a million times. I am not very experienced with the high tier cars in this game, and these cars are high tier. Now, cars that are relatively easy to drive, like the Rimac Nevera, you know, with the great acceleration and decent nitro and all of that, well, those I can deal with. But cars like this one, the Koenigsegg Agera RS, that it's a top speed car, but you need to know what you're doing with it, well, you know, I am definitely not skilled when it comes to this. And I keep on saying that I need to get better at this. And in fact, I've been playing a bit more with this type of cars, but even then, as you can see, I'm still not there. So the gameplay that you will see over here is not to show you, oh my god, how capable the cars are. It's more just to mess around, enjoy some of these cars because there's free tries, and let's see how much DBT can suffer. And at the same time, at the very least, it should give you and me, more like it will give me, but perhaps it'll help you, to see how a very mid player like myself can drive these cars. Because there's some truth to the fact that doesn't matter that if you have the best car out there in the game, if you don't know, oh god, I missed the drift. Come on, don't ring out, come on, I didn't ring out. Ah, fuck. Oh, what a show that was. How did I get away with that? No idea, but there you go. See, me, I'm done playing my skill. That was just ridiculous. Beating 2 CC850 Agera RS, 3 La Voiture Noires, and another CC850. Jesus. Now, I changed the color of the car because, well, you know, the one that I used in the previous race was just me trying to mimic the color of the Agera RS in Asphalt 8. But now I went for the blue one because it actually looks fantastic. But anyway, as I was trying to say in the previous race, it doesn't matter if you have the best cars. If you don't have the skill, then it's likely that you're not going to be able to do a lot with the cars. And, you know, I think it's also a valid question as to should I go for this car that I do not have any experience on driving, and later I discovered that I cannot drive it for the life of me. I mean, ideally, you still want to get some of the best cars, even if these are not the best cars, but you know what I'm saying, right? I'm just talking in general terms. And you may still want to go for those cars and, you know, eventually, well, once you own them, drive them and whatnot, but still, I think it's a good idea to see. To test them while they're available and get an idea as to whether or not you're going to be able to do something. Because I do remember the first time that I drove the Koenigsegg Agera in this game, I was like, wow, I lost to basically anything and everything. Things that are way slower, that are, you know, it was really surprising to me to see how what would I say, the gameplay skills that you have that play normally up to Class A don't really apply in this type of cars, the Class S cars, especially the higher tiers, because they're very different in the way that they drive. Also, because obviously they go considerably faster, the track suddenly is oh, I missed that ramp, damn it. The track suddenly feels smaller, well, not smaller, but you know, you travel the track way faster, and next thing you know, you're already on the wall. So there's definitely some considerations to be had over here when you're playing with this type of cars, and well, it's a matter of learning what they can do. I got beaten by a CC850, but I did beat an Agera RS, two Czingers, another CC850, Plethore, and an Agera RS. Now, to be fair, this is the Koenigsegg Agera RS. Of the 4 cars that I'm going to be driving today, is the one that I have the most experience with. Because in my Nintendo Switch account, by the way, what I'm playing right now is my global account on PC, but on my Nintendo Switch account, I do have the car at gold. I managed to gold it through the Spotlight event whenever that was. So I do have it at gold, and I've driven it a bunch, and well, again, I'm not really gonna try to give you an objective review. I mean, any of my quote-unquote reviews are never objective. Everything is subjective over here. But what I can tell you is from my experience, this car, it is obviously very fast, but I don't know, it feels like the drift on the car is not particularly amazing, especially given the speed. When I've compared it against some things, Jesus Christ, similar on rank like the Koenigsegg Agera. Now granted, to be fair, I do believe that the Koenigsegg Agera is meant to be a better car overall than this one. Oh, I thought it was gonna crash. But yeah, this car is there, you know, it's not a bad car, obviously, but it just doesn't feel like as agile, anywhere as agile. I don't know. Again, take everything that I'm saying with a massive mountain of salt as opposed to a grain of salt, simply because I'm not experienced with this car, so I'm just giving you my impressions. This is not an objective assessment of the car. This is just like Noob DBT feels like this car is that. But yeah, it is definitely very fast, and if you know how to drive it, you can probably still do a ton of damage. That's a fair play, but yeah, it takes a bit to get used to it. I don't know. It's weird. Beaten a Chiron to Navera, Tamatak, CC850, Czinger, and Agera RS. Nice. But now we're going to be checking out the HTT Locus Plethore LC750, also 6 stars, Class S, rank of this. Here's the stats. The main thing to understand about this car, which makes it very interesting, it's that it has a lot of nitro for Class S, and it's okay in speed, doesn't have very good acceleration, but pretty good handling. Basically, I've said it before, this car reminds me or it makes me think that this is the Chevrolet Corvette Grand Sport, but of Class S. You know, with not being very fast, not having good acceleration, but having really good handling and really good nitro. So that's, I don't know, I think last time that I drove this, precisely when it was added and there was a free track for it in MP2 as well, I was having a lot of fun driving the car because this is a much easier car to drive than the Koenigsegg Agera RS for the same reasons, right? Because it has crazy nitro, so even if you lose your speed, you still have a fantastic opportunity to build it up with your nitro and a shockwave and whatnot. It handles nice. As far as I remember, it drifts nice, but let's find out right here. Oh yeah, this is fine. And probably this is not a car that you will be able to do punch drifts with or anything like that. I highly doubt it. But still, like I said, it is just one of those cars that are way easier to drive, more comfortable. So if you're looking for a crazy performer on multiplayer, this is probably not it. Again, it's gonna be easy, but as it tends to be, the things that are easy may not be the best ones out there. You know what I mean? Because generally the things that are the best, they do take quite a bit of effort to master. So yeah, it is a bit of an interesting one. Like I said, it is a very fun car to drive. In fact, at some point I did even consider like, oh, should I get this car just because it's so much fun? But well, I wasn't really willing to spend tokens at the time, and that's a bad lovely. All right, so let's see what I beat. I mean, I got a good track for the car, to be honest. I beat a La Voiture Noire, Czinger, the Vel 16, geez. Well, that's a terrible track for the developer, I think. Agera RS took a Czinger and a La Voiture Noire. Now, I also want to make it clear that as you see me getting some decent results over here in multiplayer, this is not exactly reflective of the overall performance of the car against its competition. Why do I say that? Well, because right now there's so many free try of this type of cars that people like DBT are playing with cars that they don't normally own and they may not be super familiar on how to drive them. So what that creates is this scenario where you're gonna see a lot of people driving these high performer cars, but they will not be performing the players and the cars to their maximum, simply because, again, the player may not be particularly used to driving them. So it creates this false, this false look? No! Are you kidding me? I hate this so much. Oh God, I hate that section so much. I need to remember to not use nitro on those because it's just annoying. Anyway. Yeah, it creates this false idea that, oh, look at this. This car was able in the previous race to beat up even at the Bell. It's such a great car. Well, no, not necessarily. It's just that, you know, there's a ton of people driving this car. So, yeah, a lot of people are going to be like DBT, very inexperienced. And that is, you know, it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying like, oh, they shouldn't be playing or anything. All I'm saying is that if you see Plethore beating La Voiture Noire, it doesn't mean that normally he can do that. It just means that maybe the player that is playing... The player that is driving the La Voiture Noire may not be familiar with that car either, and they just did terrible. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I don't want to make it look like, oh, actually look at DBT and his insane skills and the cars are amazing. Nah, this is just a very, what would I call it? Very specific situation in which you can get this type of results. Wow, looking at the car from below, it looked like a triangle. Did you see that? And I completely forgot to show you the leaderboard on the previous race, but hey, I lost to a bunch of things, so it doesn't matter. Not much to show over there. But all right, now we get into another track that I believe is not going to be fantastic for this car, especially if I keep on hugging the wall right then. Simply because this section in particular is very conducive to top speed cars or really good acceleration cars as well. Well, let's see. I don't remember what is the rest of this track, or at least this specific version of the track, so let's see. We're gonna go into the volcano jumps. Oh god, these volcano jumps gave me so many nightmares when this map originally released, because I didn't quite understand. Because I remember, I might be wrong about this, but I kind of remember the developers talking at some point when they were, you know, showing this track or something, that how much elevation you were gonna get through those jumps had to do with your speed. So I thought, oh, okay, so long as I'm going fast enough, then I should be able to make the jump. It took me quite a while to learn that no, it's not just that. If you're doing 360s, you get a much better elevation, which makes no sense. But hey, a lot of things don't make sense, so I don't think that's something that I should, you know, put against the game. You know, how you say that? Something that I should hold against the game. That's what I was trying to say. Oh my god! Oh my god! Almost. All right, you know what? That went surprisingly right. Look at that, it's a triangle, I tell you. Super wide at the back and kind of narrow at the front. What a peculiar looking car. Anyway, I got beaten by a La Voiture Noire, but I did beat a Czinger, Agera RS, CC850, La Voiture Noire, Devel 16, and Agera. Nice. But now it is time to drive the Bugatti La Voiture Noire, the black car, literally what it means. Again, here's the stats in general. From the stats, it makes me think a lot about the regular Chiron, the base Chiron, obviously. But from what I hear, this car is absolutely fantastic when it comes to the floaties, and it also has much better nitro than the regular Chiron. Well, better nitro, but still. Let's see how it drives. I really have not had much of a chance with this car, so yeah. This is quite an old car by now, and I'm sure it has had its fair share of free tries before, but I think anytime that has been available, I still did not have the experience that I have with the game now. And again, that's not me saying like, oh my god, I'm so experienced now and whatnot, but obviously I have more experience now than before. So let's see what I can do with this car and what is the deal with it. Like I said, oh Jesus, that was terrible. Like I said, I've heard that this car is fantastic for floaties, though honestly, oh, all right. You saw that I just tried to do a punch drift, but because DBTB noob, he messed it up somehow, and yeah, that didn't work. Yeah, I am incredibly unfamiliar with this car, so you will have to forgive me for any pro that is watching this video. Well, thank you for watching. But yeah, again, very limited skill here by DBT. It's fine. Oh, it seems that the drift is pretty sharp, isn't it? Yeah, it takes a second, but then it bites and whoop, it goes considerably sharp. All right, interesting. Yeah, so it's about as fast as a Chiron. I think it's actually the exact same speed as a Chiron, but indeed, oh, but also similar acceleration now that I think about it. I'm telling you, it feels like a, well, the stats look like a Chiron, but with better nitro. So, whoa, stop it. Jesus. Hey, that's a second place in spite of the wreck. So see what I'm saying about the, you know, quite varied skill level. I got beaten by a CC850, but I did beat the Czinger to CC850, Czinger, La Voiture Noire, and CC850. You know what? I'm gonna correct myself here because I was wrong about the nitro. Basically, all of the stats are insanely similar to those of the regular Chiron, except for the handling, where this car has like 9 points higher of handling than the base Chiron. But the rest of the stats are very, very similar. The top speed is basically the same. The acceleration of this car is like 0.5 better. And the nitro is basically the same. So yeah, it is interesting that this is indeed like a Chiron, but handles better from what I can see. And again, apparently the floating capabilities are also out of this world. But what do I know? That is the thing that I don't know how to do proper. So there you go. I mean, I said the thing that I don't know how to do proper as if that was the only thing that I'm lacking. Okay, that was late, I think. Hey, I drifted it at about, what was that, 340 or so? Yeah. Now, I don't think that was particularly useful. The guy in front of me still did it better somehow. But hey, you know, I'm trying. I'm trying, people, all right? I'm gonna go here. 360, I did that one quite wide, but 360. So that was 360 kilometers an hour. Not that I did a 360. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. Whatever that was that I just overtook, that's gotta be the Plethore, right? Because that was not very fast. I mean, not very fast compared to this car, I'll say. And no, it was an Arash. Whoa! Okay, well, I got beaten by a La Voiture Noire. I did beat an Arash at a crazy rank. La Voiture Noire Agera RS, 2 La Voiture Noires, and a Czinger. I'm telling you, I have an idea of how to do the floaties. I just don't have the experience to actually do them. So yeah, here we go. But yeah, so I don't know what I should say about this car. Is it worth going for? We were talking about this, I think it was in the comments of a previous video, when it was like, well, yeah, but why would you go for this when you can have, what's it called, an Evo Chiron that is going to outperform this, and that's fair enough. No, you know, while the Chiron in theory, it is indeed, not in theory, but legit is a much more common car than this, you know, it's going to take people a while to actually get the Evo parts and all of this and whatnot. Oh, Jesus! But I would say that it probably indeed, if you already have the Chiron Evo'd out, and you have it at a good Evo tune and all of that stuff, yeah, probably this is not a car that you are gonna be needing. At least that's my noob take, all right? Oh god, noob take detected. Yeah, you'll have to let me know. In fact, yeah, in the comments, let me know if there's still a reason to prefer this over the regular Chiron once it's Evo'd out. But yeah, I'm just really curious to learn a little bit about it, because yeah, little experience with this car. All right, I got a first place, baby. And beating a Czinger, the Veil, 3 Czingers, and 2 La Voiture Noires. And now to end in style, we're gonna be doing the Czinger 21. I know it's pronounced Czinger, but I like pronouncing it Czinger. It's fine. But yeah, again, Class A, 6 stars, all of that stuff. Now, the stats are kind of interesting because it's a car that it goes relatively fast. You know, it's not super slow, but it's not particularly fast either. Acceleration is where this thing excels at 89.07. It's really, 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 really high. Handling is not particularly good, and in fact, it's way worse when you're actually driving it, especially the drift. And Nitro 51.51, it's alright. Let's drive it. And this is, honestly, this and the 2 Atara Striker are the cars that I'm most interested in this burst of speed. And I know that is controversial because neither of these 2 cars are considered like really good cars. And yeah, look at this. Well, you know, this was a slow drift, so it didn't feel terrible, but yeah. Neither of these cars is really considered a good car. In particular, the 2 Atara Striker, that one I would agree. I wish there had been a free try for it right here, but oh well. Yeah, the 2 Atara Striker, it just makes me wonder, why is it at that rank? But then we have this car, the Czinger, which is, again, the main thing about this car is going to be the acceleration. But other than that, doesn't have too much to speak about, you know, or, oh, geez, to hype about this car. And it is interesting because originally when this car released, when I saw it and I saw that it was going to be an acceleration car and it didn't have necessarily a lot of top speed and whatnot, I thought that maybe this car was gonna be what would I say, an agility beast, you know? I thought that this was gonna be a really good drifter, you know, and whatnot. I mean, it's not a straight up terrible, at least not at gold, but the reality is that it's not particularly good either. And given the rank, you know, yeah, it does have the acceleration for sure, but you know that the Nevera has the acceleration, that the Asphalt Owl has the acceleration, that the Time Attack has the acceleration. But this car just feels so... Well, I mean, maybe the Time Attack is a bad example because that one also drifts garbage, but it does have lower stats than this, so I don't know. It's a bit of a weird thing. I got beaten by a Locus Plethore, La Voiture Noire, but I did beat another Plethore, Czinger, CC850, Plethore, and CC850. But again, I could be wrong. Maybe there's something that I don't understand about the Czinger, but yeah, in general, I haven't seen much people talking good stuff about this car. Now, in Gauntlet, now that Gauntlet is in the game, I think this car does have a very real purpose. Like I said, it's a great accelerator with a pretty decent speed. And Gauntlet, so long as it's using this 30-second-ish tracks, Gauntlet is all about acceleration. So if you have a car that accelerates with 89 points, well then yeah, it doesn't matter if it's not particularly good at anything else. It's just going to help you massively over there. So that is a legit reason why this car has a... Whoa. That, sure game, of course. That is a very legit reason to want to have this car now. But yeah, like I said, it's just a bit of a peculiar case. I thought, especially being a race car and all, I was hoping that this car was going to be much more agile and all of that. Like I said, it's not straight up terrible, but look at this drift. Yeah, it's just, you know, leaves a lot to be desired. Now that I think about it, the Nevera Time Attack, it is considerably, well, a little bit slower than this. I think it's like 10 kilometers slower. Honestly, I don't even remember what is the top speed of the Nevera, but I do believe that the regular Nevera is about this fast. Oh my god, Time Attack! Fast! Oh my god, we got another miraculous first place. Look at that. We finished legit in the same frame, but I still got the W. Let's go! Beating the CC850, La Voiture Noire, Plethore, Nevera Time Attack, CC850, Plethore, and Time Attack. Damn. I gotta say, I got more W's than I expected in this video, so that's kind of nice. But if you're wondering, DBT, when are you going to be opening Burst of Speed packs? What's wrong with you? Everyone already did, but you haven't. What up with that? Well, like I explained in the video where I was talking about the Burst of Speed, I want to maximize the amount of trade coins that I'm gonna get from Burst of Speed. That is to say, you know, when you get repeated blueprints, you get trade coins. So yes, those things are important because I continue to buy a bunch of Fed picks for a bunch of cars in the Legend Store, and that is why you want to use, or where you want to use that currency. So because I'm trying to maximize that, I am going to wait until it's technically the last week of this entire season, meaning from today, Thursday, till the next Thursday, approximately over there is when I'm going to be opening packs. Once I get to the very last Legend Pass reward of additional trade coins. You know what I'm talking about? I talked about it in the other video, where if you own the Legend Pass, there are rewards where you can get more trade coins. So, you know, it's a lot of more trade coins that you can get. So yeah, if I'm gonna be spending a bunch of tokens and getting a tremendous amount of repeated blueprints, might as well make the most of them. And that's a first place. So yeah, that's why I'm taking my sweet time to do it, but don't worry, it's gonna happen. You bet that it's gonna happen, and you better stay tuned for that. All right, it's like a Czinger beating everything else. Another Czinger, 2 La Voiture Noires, and 3 CC850. Beautiful. I'm telling you, I actually like a lot the look of this card. That's why I want it. But then again, it can still probably do some heavy damage in Gauntlet. But yeah, I just wanted to drive these things a little bit. And like I said, happy Thanksgiving to everybody that celebrates it. And if you don't, then don't worry. But yeah, once again, I want to invite you to consider checking out my channel, LDBT. Why did this freeze? LDBT channel, where I'm uploading videos in Spanish and all of that. I'll put the link also here in the end card, so if you want to check it out with videos of other games and whatnot, if you speak Spanish, well, there's the option. If not, don't worry too much about it. But that's gonna do it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.